Hello, everybody. Welcome to Disabilities Redefined with Dr. Wagner. A few weeks ago, I interviewed Sheryl Markowitz and Brad Riley. Brad is Sheryl's son's best friend, and Sheryl is in fact a beautiful disabled woman. She hosts a very popular YouTube channel, Slaying Dragons with Sheryl, Slaying the Dragons with Sheryl. Listen, at the end of the day, we wanted a second episode to go along with this first one we did with Sheryl and Brad. So what we did was bring in Sheryl's husband, Bob. Very articulate and very, very smart. We turned our studio into a screening area, and it was a lot of fun. And then afterward, we went and had a meet and greet with Sheryl and Bob and the group in our lounge. Listen, if you're in New York, come to some of our events. If you're not in New York, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Disabilities Redefined with Dr. Wagner. Enjoy this episode. So, Bob, I just have 4 questions. First one, what is it like being married to Sheryl?
Wonderful. I like that your program is called Disabilities Redefined, and if I can sidetrack or backtrack for just a minute or digress, I personally actually have an issue with the term disability. When we are using that word in the context, it doesn't involve human beings. A machine, for example, when we say disabled, it means it doesn't work. It's off. Sheryl is not, in my mind, disabled. Never has been, never will be. Sheryl is differently abled. She's differently abled than I am. I do not need leg braces to walk. I don't need a cane to walk. Sheryl uses those for assistance, and there are other ways in which she is differently abled from me. But I never for a minute think that she's disabled, and frankly, nor does Sheryl in the way she conducts her day-to-day life. And we have an enormous amount of fun, many, many great adventures, and we live life to the fullest, notwithstanding the fact that she's differently abled than I am.
Okay, well, the legal term for this is in fact disabled. The vast majority of individuals who, for example, someone coming to mind right now, Lolo Spencer, who was on the show Sex Girls in College or something like that. She actually, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, did a huge Instagram where she actually stated the word is in fact disabled.
Yes.
So we have a controversy over that. And I always, listen, whatever terminology you so choose to use is the correct one for you. I was put myself, and we might edit this out, but I think, Sheryl, you'll appreciate this and everyone else. We just did a documentary with one of the blind singers who is actually on the YouTube channel, where he continually used the word handicap. Now that term is actually no longer used. I don't even think it's in the lexicon. But he wanted that in the title. I left it in the title.
Yes.
That's what he wanted, you know? So I do appreciate that. I obviously, I'm glad you addressed it. But let's move on to the first question again.
Yes.
What is it like being married to Sheryl?
Again, I think it is wonderful being married to Sheryl because we live our lives to the fullest. We are constantly on the go. We travel a lot, both for work, but together for pleasure. We try to make the most out of every moment of every day that we have together. We both have jobs that demand a lot of our time and attention, and so we don't have as much time with just one another or with one another in family and one another in friends as we would like. But when we do, we take full advantage of the time that we do have together, notwithstanding the fact that Sheryl has physical limitations that qualify her as being disabled.
Now, she loves fashion.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Not a question, statement.
Absolutely.
We know.
Absolutely.
That, in fact, is a statement. What do you think about all that? I mean, when she goes shopping, do you say, okay, I mean, do you guys discuss it in the morning, or does she just go do what? I mean, or is it afterward, or do you enjoy her, you know, getting all dolled up? Because I mean, come on, she's always with something, and she's got that's a big part of your social media presence. Yes, so.
Well, for people who know Sheryl or have spent even a minute with her, they immediately see how outgoing and how warm and how friendly she is. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things, and we do frequently shop together or go on shopping adventures together.
Oh, wow. Nice.
And when we do, I have a lot of fun, in part because I know if we are going to a store we've been to before, we're going to see an old friend. Mm-hmm. And if we are going to a store that we haven't been to before, we're going to make a new friend. Mm-hmm. Because Sheryl makes friends wherever she goes. And it is part of, and I do think that in some ways it is connected to Sheryl's disabilities, in that it is very important to Sheryl when she wakes up every morning to put a smile on her face and keep that smile on her face throughout the day. Mm-hmm. And throughout the night, and until she goes to bed, and then mm-hmm. wakes up the next morning, and we do it all over right. again. And when you always have a smile on your face, you're very inviting to others, mm-hmm. and it's easy for people to have conversations with Sheryl and to make friends and become friends with her. We have very different shopping styles. Every 6 months will realize I need a new pair of slacks. I will mm-hmm. decide in advance what I need. I will walk into the store, and within 90 seconds, I hope to be at the cash register with a pair of pants and done and out.
Right.
Sheryl and I, when shopping for items for her, we can make a day out of it. So somewhat different shopping styles, but again, what makes it enjoyable for me is the human interactions that Sheryl has with others. Excellent. And the fact that, as I said, I know I'm going to walk out with a new friend.
And well, that's also, you share a lot of that on Instagram. Yes.
Yes.
And that's wonderful. So that was almost my second question. So third question. So I'm going to throw another one in there. So I get a little serious now. The first interview, we spoke about Sheryl, obviously, Bradley, and your son who couldn't make it. Part of the reason why you're here now is because we did not talk about you. I can see already people getting in touch with me. Why did you bring her husband, who is able-bodied, for the second part of the interview and not Sheryl, who in fact is disabled? I consider you guys to be a team, and I wanted to hear what you had to say about her, a beautiful disabled woman. What do you say? What do you say to people who want to maybe say that the disabled population can only speak about the disabled population?
Well, I don't agree with that notion for two reasons. One is that I think when we talk about disabled people as somehow being different, it more often than not translates into somehow being lesser. Mm-hmm. And similarly, when we talk about people who have other physical or mental health issues, when we talk about them having those issues and we talk about them being different, different often gets translated into lesser. Mm-hmm. And so I don't agree with the notion of thinking about people who are disabled as being different in a way that's going to cause us to think any less of them. Mm-hmm. The second thing that I would say is that one of the reasons why our marriage works is, and it has taken time, and I think this is an important lesson to be learned for people who are fully abled, who live with somebody who is disabled, or situations where two people may, when they meet and fall in love, are both fully able, but one of them due to accident, injury, or age becomes disabled, is that it is, for Sheryl, it is a 24/7. Mm-hmm. Sheryl doesn't get to turn off being disabled. Mm-hmm. And so as her partner, I need to be mindful of the limitations brought about by Sheryl's physical disabilities 24/7. Mm-hmm. And there have been instances throughout the course of our relationship where I have stopped paying attention momentarily, and that has not been good. Mm-hmm. Sheryl and I were on a vacation together with friends. We were walking on a boardwalk. It was the sort of surface where 99 times out of 100 when we're walking together, I'm holding Sheryl's hand to provide extra support for her. we were on the vacation with friends, and I started chatting with the friends we were with, and we fell behind, and Cheryl was walking a little bit ahead, a little faster, and she tripped and fell. And that wouldn't have happened had I been holding her hand. And so just as she doesn't get the opportunity to not be disabled, if I'm going to be a good partner, I don't get the opportunity to not be supportive.
Wonderful.
And so that's why I think that somebody in my position can and should talk about what it's like to be with somebody who is disabled.
Absolutely. Wow. Nice. Very good answer. Okay. We got a little serious, but now let's loosen it up. Last question. 3 words to describe Cheryl. The question was 3 words to describe Cheryl.
Perfectly perfect human.
Okay. I think that's it. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. All right then. So this is all.